Welcome to Leap Failed with Ian Nethercott and Larry Feldman live.
If you look at the last 4 years again, we've answered 41 million phone calls for dealers over the last 4 years with our AI platform. We've also handled over 150 million text messages. And so when you look at just those raw numbers, that's a 4-to-1, 3.5, 4-to-1 text to phone call. So I don't know. Here's what I can tell you, though. I believe that the customer wants to be met where they are presently. If that is text, voice, video call, if they want to be engaged and engaged instantly.
All right.
Gotcha.
Well, maybe we could start with that.
Weren't you this morning?
Maybe we could start with that. Since we're talking about experience and buying cars, maybe Wendy, you can talk about hiring experience and what your experience has been, and maybe Larry can go on that. So go ahead. Now we're
absolutely. And hello, Abdul. You had said hello, and I
hello there. How are you?
Good. And
Sorry, just got home.
Hold on, before we jump in, Christian, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. I'm hopefully getting this sling off here in about a week.
You broke something?
He had some shoulder surgery, right?
Rotator cuff surgery, about 6 weeks ago. Yeah,
Yikes.
so I'm on the mend, thank you.
he had it all figured out at a SodaCon. He was just still clipping right along. So I don't know if Alec, if you were on the Fixed Stops call this morning, I don't remember, Alec. I think it was very lightly attended for whatever reason. But they were talking about recruiting, and they were talking about how, I don't know, challenges to recruiting and everything else. And then we were talking about how, and it was very like serendipitous because the day before David Rosick had made a post, or maybe even yesterday morning, that that obviously we all know it's got to start with the internal culture, because before you're able to improve the customer experience and then slap all the fancy tools on top of it, and about loyalty and why techs leave and why they won't come, and it evolved into why don't they show up for interviews, and then you have to do content creation for the why work with us or why be a part of our team, and build up your staff page. And somebody got into how some do video bios, and I don't know if it was received because it was the end of the call, but we, as a BDC, we've been sending videos for years, like a virtual service lane or showroom visit for an appointment, especially for a conquest customer or a first-time visit. And then when you walk them through where they drive in, to where they park, the door they go in, the desk they go up to check in for their reservation, service or sales, then they get a photo of the nice team that's going to greet them. And that's always been very effective for me, both in-house BDCs and remote, all of them. It just ups the show level. So I wondered if that might be a super good topic, because why aren't people showing up for the recruiting? And then also encouraging some sort of something or other, but as far as content and appreciating your customer, your techs and your service advisors and all your staff, and making it a place where they not only want to come, but where they want to stay. That kind of entices them to come. I mean, we have our why buy from us or why service with us propositions. Why not? Why work with us? Why join our team?
Hey, Wendy, I think two things are a killer for people not showing up for interviews. One, after you book the appointment for the interview and everything, the employer should be sending a text to the individual with the date and the time and who they're meeting with. Because you're having a conversation and you're assuming that they have paper and pen in front of them when they may be out walking their dog when they answer.
Stop, Alec. I always assume they don't have pencil and paper because they're all morons, and they all type it in, and then they get 17 cat playing piano videos. It's just frightening. Hey, there's my buddy Jeff Shearer.
But you also,
all Have we started the show yet?
Yeah. We're live, man.
We're live, okay.
Just send that reminder.
What the hell are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about customer experience in car buying, but we were talking about Wendy had a great idea, which was like, hey, how come people don't show up for interviews? I think that was always an issue, but I think it's probably a bigger issue today. I don't know if that's people or process. Don't know.
I have a question. I want to know how come Alec looks like he's in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, changed my back screen.
Yeah, you did. You're sitting like in the grass.
That's because he is. That's because he is in the movie.
You're what, Alec?
I said I'm not feeling small, but I am caught in the grass.
Oh. Well, maybe that's what's making you feel better.
Yep.
The grass.
Well, we sold the house
Money,
on
Wendy.
Friday, or we went under contract.
Dr. Locke. Sorry.
Feeling good about that.
Nice.
Congrats.
Yeah, all right.
So, Larry, why don't they show up?
Okay, as I started to say earlier, if you wanted to get a job 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you dressed nicely, you went to wherever you were going, you were excited, they were excited, but because we've made it easy to just hit the buttons and people have such short attention spans, we put ads out for texts and say, must have 2 years Ford experience. And we get people that reach out from Dunkin' Donuts to put the sprinkles on. So I think it's a combination of people not paying attention. I think it's, as Alec and Wendy alluded to correctly, they don't write things down. And Alec, we always we get great turnout, but we still have plenty of no-shows. And immediately after we make an appointment, we do send them the text. But the problem is not everybody's as meticulous as we all seem to be on the show about looking at their texts and about dialing it in. We're in a strange time on the planet. 50% of the marriages end in divorce. These are people that, spend a lot of money, get together and say till death do us part, but apparently death is equivalent to a bad argument. When I was a kid, Willie Mays was a Giant, and then they traded him back to New York because that's where the Giants played. Everything had a little bit more sense of permanence, and now everything has a sense of impermanence. And let me just say one more thing and I'll jump off. I made my money and my career in Trenton, New Jersey. The nicest people you ever meet and some of the worst credit you've ever seen. But I got very aggressive as a salesman. They let me do it because I was the top guy. And I would call the banks myself. And I'd say, I know you turned this guy down, but did you look at the application? He's been on his job 8 years. And they'd say, all right, we'll give you a break, Feldman. I would never work today because today people have 5 jobs in 1 year and nobody thinks it's unusual. So when you add in the sense of impermanence, the sense that they don't even know half the time which job they're applying for. When I have people call myself and Roseanne, my director of operations, and they call and she'll say, hello, are you calling about one of our jobs? And they'll say, yes. And she goes, which one? Let me look. I would never call anybody on this panel or anybody in my life without writing down their name and what information so it don't look like a dope. But they're not writing things down. They hit the button and they don't even know who they spoke to. It's not that important to them. And having said all that, I still got 20 people to show up and weeded them down to 10 of the nicest people you ever saw. We just have to work a little harder and a little smarter and just get more of them. But I think we all agree it's not like it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. People make appointments and don't show up for them. I got a better one for you. And I know I said I'd shut up, but it's hard for me to shut up. I got a better one for you. Everybody I know has a cell phone. How come nobody answers their damn phone? Am I missing something? Oh, it might be a scam. Yeah, it might be the lottery commission calling too. The worst you can do is hang up on people.
I had a guy answer a phone last week, Larry, and he said, I don't normally answer my phone, but I did this time. I was like laughing at him. I was like, really?
I get people to call me, courtesy of one Ian Nethercott, and they say, son of a gun, you answered your phone. I said, yeah, this is Larry Feldman. I answer my phone. And they say, Ian Nethercott told us to call you. We need people. And he said, you always answer your phone, and we didn't believe him. It's amazing that you get a medal for answering your damn phone. Look, I don't want to reveal my age here, Sandy, but I'm just old enough that I remember when the phone rang, when I was a kid, everybody ran to the phone to see who it was.
But Larry, things were different back then. In the rotary and the push button back then, it would ring 50 times. It would ring until it either hung up or somebody answered the phone. It just ain't the case today.
Russell, Larry's talking about the time with the switchboard. He's not.
My mom did that as a high school and college job, moving the cords around.
You know, I believe you were
Massachusetts.
taking a shot at my age. What you don't realize is I'm the youngest in my family and I'm a car salesman. You can't insult me.
You can't insult any of us. We're all in the automotive business.
Mayor, I want to take it from where you are. I got a couple of things to capitalize on what you said. You were in Trenton, New Jersey. In the 90s, I was in Hartford, Connecticut, working for Herb Chambers.
Yep.
And we were in the enterprise zone. And what the enterprise zone was dividing the hood from the highway and the big trash compactor place. So I would have Baybank and Bank of Boston were my buyers. I was working at Herb Chambers Mitsubishi. And we would have people walk over the bridge because there was literally a bridge that divided the railroad tracks from the rest. And they would come with multiple people because they needed somebody else to co-sign or somebody else to do it. So I got to the point where my banks knew I would write on the app spot. They're in the waiting room. And they wouldn't believe me that people were in the waiting room. So they came and visited me one day and I took them for a ride. I put them all in my car and I drove through the projects. And I showed, look, these are my customers. You see, there's a Mitsubishi. You see, there's a Hyundai. I need your help. And so the banks want to work with. So it was back when you had relationships and when your bankers protected. I need this one. It's late at night. Now, with all of this being said, I really feel that we bottomed out now. And the people that don't want to rebuild, don't. And the ones that want to rebuild, all of us in this platform, we're going to win. It's good to be with everybody tonight.
Same here. So, Larry,
And I turned 65 on Saturday. I'm a spring chicken.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Well, I was at an event here locally. There's an inventor and business person who's entrepreneurial. He was there. He's 70. He says, I have 2 more companies in me yet. He's 70 years old. So just so you know. So, Larry, what percentage is acceptable of no-shows in your opinion?
My goal when I do salespeople, it's different obviously for techs and other positions, is I try to set 40 appointments with the goal that 25 to 28 of them will show up. And it's kind of like the military. It's overwhelming force. If you only set 7 appointments, you better just go home because you just have a danger that 6 out of the 7 won't show up. But if I get 40 appointments or 38 appointments set, I always have enough people. If you guys are all tied in with LinkedIn, the pictures you see, every class, I have 10 people, I have 20 people, I have 21 people, but it's, I'm not going to lie to you, Ian. It never fails to frustrate me when people don't show up or you call them, because I follow up with everybody, and say, it's Larry, we had you set up, and then they hang up on me. How hard would it be to say, no, thank you, I changed my mind, I got another job? Because sometimes, Russell, they get another job, and it turns out to be a bad job, and if they try calling me, I go, you're the same idiot that hung up on me. That's probably how you're going to treat your customers.
Right.
Yeah.
Good indicator.
Sandy,
You're a bridge.
Sandy, what do you think on job hiring, getting them to show up?
So, hi everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Wait a minute. Before Sandy speaks, let me tell you the other
I want
problem.
everybody to start keeping track of
Now, hold on. No, this is important.
How much time you get?
Hold on. I'm going to give you the floor, but it's important because there's another problem we have to discuss. And then I'll give the floor to Sandy. Sandy and I buddied up real good the first time or second time she was on Lethal Sales. She called me up and she said, Larry, I always thought you were mentally unstable, but now I see it's a plus, not a negative. Yes, you did. And she said, why don't you and I team up? I have a dealer that needs people. And Sandy will tell you that using my magical theories, I sent her about 27 good people. And she said, Larry, this is awesome. We're going to take over the planet. And I called her in 2 days and said, how'd we do? She says, I don't know. They haven't gotten back to me yet. So not only do you have a problem with getting the people in, then you're trying to get the attention of the managers to actually pay attention.
Yeah, 100%.
What
Sorry.
percentage of your shows do you typically end up hiring? Is there an average?
It depends on the store. I've been at places, I was in Georgia, and I got 12 people hired. Where I am today, I wheedled it down to 8 or 9 of the best people you ever saw. I think I have a good shot of getting 5 or 6 or 7 hired. It depends on the place and the people. I had a guy ask me today, you would have loved it, Wendy. He said, really good guy. He's going to get hired. And he said, Larry, which people are the hardest people to sell? I said, I'm not going to answer that because it's a BS question. I know old people that are unbelievably nice. I know old people that are really difficult. I know young people that are a pain in the neck, and some are beautiful. You know, when you start categorizing people, you're already in trouble, because that leads to the next thing where you categorize everybody as not a buyer. Alec, I say it every damn class. I try to be unpredictable, but one thing I say every class: what do salespeople talk about all day? And I explain it's not sex and it's not sports. It's that there's no business. And then when a car pulls up, 3 veterans go, he don't look like a buyer. Send the rookie out. It's we're our own worst enemy in everything that we do.
It's just an oil change. You can have it.
Yeah,
It's
brakes,
great. Hey,
muffler, tune up,
Hey, we haven't had-
$2,000 later.
We haven't had Jeff Shearer on in a while, and it's good to see you, Jeff. How's Hugo doing? How are you doing? And what are your thoughts on this?
We're doing really good. Interesting. I mean, you know, obviously we're small companies, so we're not recruiting as many people and as Wendy does, and as obviously as you do. But you know, like my business, the people that approach me are like friends or contacts. You know, they're referrals. So I haven't really had that problem with people not responding, but customers, on the other hand.
No names.
Yeah.
But you asked me, for anybody who doesn't know, Jeff has been so good to me and my company and has got me so much business that he got me in with a guy that really liked me and put me with another guy. But the guy that he put me with wasn't Jeff's customer. So I said, listen, if you're going to use me, you should use Jeff Shearer. He's unbelievably good. And the guy set up 2 or 3 interviews, and I don't think he ever got in touch with you. Did he, Jeff?
We're still chasing him, even as today, as a matter of fact. But he's a perfect client for us, you know, so when we do get him, I'm going to set the hook.
Would it be fair to sum up what my father said to me many years ago? He said, Larry, the whole world's crazy except me and you, and I'm starting to wonder about you. We just have so much mental instability and ridiculous behavior all around us. You wonder if any of these people look in the mirror and say, what am I doing and how am I doing it?
It's scary.
Yeah.
Hey, we got David Rosa. Dave, we appreciate your input more than you know, my buddy. What's happening and what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I will say that unfortunately I was gorging on a dipped big beef Portillo sandwich with sweet peppers and drinking my Diet Coke. So I will say that I was more focused on that. But I was listening to you guys. I think that there's a lot of...
Wait a minute. I bill myself as the world's most compelling trainer. I went 3 hours and 10 minutes today, and you're telling me I lost interest because of a sandwich?
That big beef sandwich.
Rhonda, we got to do a better job with me.
I walked in the door and I opened up my beef sandwich and I'm like, shit, Larry's on.
It is a Portillo, though. I mean,
Oh, man.
And I started digging in and I had to go wash my hands and I sat back down and then you asked me a question. I'm like, Oh, fuck, what did Larry say? That Ron
There
charged
it is.
the-
Hey,
charged-
David,
Oh, wow.
Send him, you owe a check.
What did you
It's
say?
It's very standard. David is both cursing and ignoring me. It's natural for the show. I would ignore me too if I wasn't me.
I think that I always go when I'm training. First of all, when someone says, "Hey, Dave, can you train our sales staff? Can you help coach us?" The first thing I like to do is bring the managers in the room and train the managers on what I'm talking about. And I ask to have a couple of the managers in the training session with me, if not the general manager, so that we can all collaborate as we're role playing with the salespeople, getting them to, work with us. Because the worst fear I have is that I teach or coach people and they come to the desk and the desk tells them in a different way to do something different than we've trained. And now they're out of the process that we gave them. And you know what? Everybody has that point where, we're born with traits, right? But we're a rubber band when we start stretching that rubber band and we learn more things. The problem is when that rubber band snaps back, we revert back to our core, attitudes and beliefs and behaviors, and we become uncomfortable. And that's why we sometimes get that ignorant salesperson that says, "I'll just get them the fuck out of here." Okay, because he's uncomfortable. He doesn't know how to go and take that TO and talk to that person.
Two times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for 3. But
Bring out your dollars.
I know. For you, Rhonda, I'll give out 20s.
Oh my goodness.
Are we doing demo?
He's still my
I
money.
got a stack, man, for you, Rhonda. But we'll talk about that off.
Oh, okay.
All right. But seriously, I think that it always starts for me with positioning, training the executives, training the salespeople. Because if you want me to coach and I'm your marketing director and I'm sitting there and you want me to teach your managers your process, they better pay attention to me and they better role play with me and what they want taught, because I don't like to bullshit people. And I like to say, this is the agenda. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this for 2 days and we're going to commit. And then we're going to follow up and do it again. And as I started doing those training, like every other Thursday, I would come in and work with the new people and experienced people. I always wanted a mix of both because I wanted, as much as I was coaching, I was learning. And I wanted to learn to say, guys, I haven't been on the floor in 10 years. Maybe there's something different in the process that I didn't learn. Maybe the time when I play a dog and pony show at the tower, when I'm just telling the customer, I'm going to get a buy bid right now, but you got to help me out and let me know what you really need because I'm going to work them to get you the most money. And I'm up there on the phone and I'm not talking to anybody. It's a dog and pony show. I'm not beating up that manager. It's for show. I'm on theater. I'm doing my act in theater. But in the customer's mind, I'm working for them. And when I'm teaching that and I'm recording that and I'm making the salespeople watch themselves in the recording, critique themselves, pros and the new people, it's all a good learning experience. But if I don't have buy-in, I'm like, guys, if I don't have buy-in with you, fuck off. Okay? I'm not doing your training. So there's number 3.
Yeah, I thought that was
And that's just the way I am. I unfortunately I don't have time because I'm too passionate to go and play in the variable world again and for you to take up my time. I'll make you a 30, 40 car producer. I'll clone you into being me. I'll make you better than me. There's a reason why my son averages a couple $1,000s per commission. He knows how to work people on the trade and work people on payment and build value. Now, granted, he's selling 911s, okay, and different types of vehicles, but those customers do negotiate. He provides a good value. He knows how to work his back end. He knows how to work service to sales. The kid practice in the mirror every day. Every day he role plays. Every day because he needs to do it. At 24, he'll probably make $300,000 this year when everybody's complaining, saying, I can't make money as a salesperson. And he's doing that, selling 7 to 10 cars a month. Now, granted, he gets paid for backup F&I, being a Porsche Pro and other shit. So there's number 4. But it's just, it's a passionate thing that I do in sales. I just, to me, Larry, I don't know. I examine the process, how we hire them, Are we using hierology? How are we scoring them? Are we looking at the personal behaviors? How can I match my attitude and mirror you, and then teach you how to mirror the customer?
But wait a minute, you said something beautiful at the beginning that shouldn't be looked over. Very rarely do I have a manager in the room when I'm training. Now you're paying me to influence and train your people.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be in there saying, no, wait a minute, we don't do that. Or wait a minute, that's great. Because David, you're 100% right. They go to the desk and the desk, we're not doing that BS.
It's a place where deals die. Deals die at the tower because I'm excited. I have an attitude and I come up there and it's like, oh, we can't fucking do that. Tell them their car's for $8,000. Dude, come on. They came in here, you agree to it. We talked to them. They did their digital retailing numbers. They know their price. They have a good idea of payment. Sure, I could work them a little bit. And then I get, Dave, you work me more than you work the customer, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm only here to talk to you. I'm going to go write that deal. I said, and I'll go appraise the car myself and I'll get rid of it. And if I don't get rid of it, charge me back. I don't give a shit. You know, but I've been blessed that owners have said, Dave, as long as you're holding $3,000 profit, a couple points, and you're selling a piece of product, go in the F&I office and build it out yourself. Go appraise the car yourself. I had that autonomy to do that. And granted, I was a jag. I would walk up to managers and they'd say, Dave, what do we need to do for you? And I'd say, guys, you're just another thing I got to deal with. And the managers would be like, what? And I'd say, you heard me. I said, you're just means to an end. I said, eventually, I'm just going to take your job. I said, and I don't want your job because I make more money than you. And they would get pissed at me and go, oh, he's an arrogant jerk and this and that. And I said, you know what? Then why, when you guys are having a sales meeting, do I hold the sales meeting? Why am I telling people how to call people back? Why am I telling people how to meet and greet a customer? I said, it isn't because I drill on Joe Verdi every morning. It isn't that I drill on Jimmy Durant from Buick's sale tapes, cassettes that I still own. It isn't that I don't listen to Grant Cardone for an hour a day to be the best. I do a walk around over and over and over, and I want everybody to do it with me. I said, when I don't have time to be on the lot, I want to move the whole lot. You know, I have to constantly be educating and learning myself, and that hasn't stopped. I want to learn everything about AI. I want to learn everything about marketing. I want to learn everything about service. I want to know everything Wendy does in BDC. I want to master everything that Larry does. I want to know everything that Bull does because you guys are my idols. I look up to all of you on this call, and I regurgitate what I learned from you. I'm not smart. I just know how to transform myself into part of you. And that's my secret sauce, is that I can recall stuff and I can focus on service, but I re-engineer or kind of deconstruct everything I do. And then I play again and again and again, like a chess player, just so that I get it right.
You have to consider, hey, David, you're hitting on something else that makes all the sense in the world. There has to be consistency.
Yep.
Because if you don't do things frequently, it doesn't become like muscle memory.
Right.
Russell, you'll enjoy this and laugh at this, but it's true. Cadillac decided to get stylish, and they made a deal with Pina Farina, and they came out with a car called the Elante. Now, let me tell you something. Not only did it leak, but every Elante top was an adventure. And because we only saw them once in a while because we were in the ghetto, everybody was afraid to put the top up because most of the people that put the top up ripped it. Now, if we had a lot of Elantes and we constantly worked on it, it would have been easy. I don't care what it is or what you do or don't do. If you don't do it frequently, if you don't practice it, it seems alien. And it's really funny. We've all done this. You go to a sales training meeting and they say something, you go, damn, I used to do that a week ago or a year ago or 10 years ago, and I completely forgot about it. You have to constantly be practicing. The dealerships I go into, and I bet you see the same thing, Wendy and David and Alec and Jeff, I don't see people doing walkarounds. I don't see people spending 5 minutes, you sell me the car, I'll sell it back to you, everybody else look.
But even just overcoming objections, even in service, like yes. I'm amazed in service when they try to proposition something, whatever it might be, and anyone has a question, it's like, well, don't do it then, I guess. Like there's no
No.
threat, no
Here's what
trade.
they say.
Blind spot.
They introduce themselves to the customer. Here's the customer. We're just looking. We want to be left alone. Okay, fine. Hello. There's a way to overcome that real easy. But hello. Okay,
They
fine.
got a better one. They pre-qualify them on the lot and they prove them because when they say, I'm here to see the 2020 Ford Fusion, they're like, oh, that car sold 3 days ago. The BDC says whatever they want just to get you in because they get paid on appointments.
Yep.
People are still doing that shit. I'll pay you, Rhonda. Come
Okay.
on, get Toronto. Damn it. That's two.
Oh.
So,
Oh,
Well,
Y'all think this is funny. Y'all think that Rhonda, you will get an invoice in the mail.
Yeah. I don't want an invoice, I want a check.
Guys, they're still doing that for proving
Rhonda.
on the lot.
Rhonda, add Stripe into the website so that they get paid.
Okay.
No, literally,
I just-
I was telling Ron at the beginning of the call, I had a friend of mine in Toronto, his friend's daughter wrote up a car. She said, I'm going to buy a RAV4, right? I need your help. I said, no problem. Give me a call. She's looking at, I don't know what that thing is, Tiguan or some weird German thing. And I'm like, that's a completely different vehicle. Like, what? Different brand, different vehicle. Like, what happened to the RAV4? Then you had to have a certain year, and it was like some weird year, like 2008. I'm like, 2008?
I bought a Tiguan,
Yeah.
and I had no interest in ever owning one.
Yeah, neither did she.
But I looked at the price point. I looked at my employee price that I could buy it at. I'm like 35,000 to 30,000, and I get 0.9, and I get free maintenance, and I'm bumper to bumper. So how many miles? And my powertrain is a 100,000 mile warranty too that you guys are throwing in. And it's in my. I was thinking about a used car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm stupid. I'm just gonna buy this brand new car. It was one of the best things that I ever bought. I was shocked. Was it my?
I got another thing for you too.
Oh, Sandy's getting frustrated. Like, give her a minute.
Hey, go ahead. You had the floor. You sure?
I did not
And
have the
David
floor,
started
Larry.
cursing.
I always
Go ahead, I'm
had
sorry.
the floor.
Go on, Sandy. Yeah.
Sandy's turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sandy.
So, and then it's Drew's turn. I want to say hello to Drew, who just entered the room. I don't know
Hey, Drew, how are you, my
who
buddy?
Drew is, but I'm excited that he's here, right?
I've only been here from the beginning.
His
And
couch.
it's cool, right? It's
Hey,
so
Russell. But go ahead.
Why don't we get Sandy and then our boy Drew and then Abdul, and we haven't heard yet from Michael Larkin. Go ahead, Sandy. It's all yours.
So are we still talking about ghosting, candidates ghosting
Sure.
as well?
You can talk about whatever you want, Sandy.
Whatever you want.
I
It's
love
a free form.
Yeah, and because Larry, you said something that's really true, right? It's not the world we were living in 30 years ago. 30 years ago, which, as I think about this, right, maybe there's an aspect of this that helped with candidates. So 30 years ago, you walk into anywhere and you get to somebody who hands you an application. And then they say, wait here so you can give it to the hiring manager. The hiring manager looks at it, says,
Reads
hey,
it.
you have a conversation. And then they say, when can you start? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because nobody was doing anything as far as compliance, right? So you actually got to talk to a manager in those back way in the day,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
now that we've actually moved to applicant tracking systems and technology, which, if used correctly, can make the process easier, faster, better, stronger, right? If it's used correctly. Because Larry did there was a couple of roles that I was looking for. And Larry and I do two different things, right? Like, I recruit, and I'm usually looking for the passive candidate. I'm not looking for somebody who's looking for a job normally.
Right.
Right. But if it's something real hard to find, I'll go to Larry, and if I need to put an ad out, I'll ask Larry to partner with me, and I offer half of what my fee is going to be, right, for putting an ad out. And he sends me these resumes, and there are some good ones in there. And we had one that was, and this guy is a unicorn. I still talk to him because he is like a font of information. Anyway, this amazing person, and I couldn't get him over the line because of the decision-making process. And also
The non-decision making process.
right. Well, they actually, the making decisions for people, right? Like, well, I don't think they're gonna like this area. Well,
What?
they talk to you. Like
They
they're
applied for the job, hello.
they spend hours on the phone. So it's I think it's a lot of different things, but this ghosting thing, right? A lot of that is about, for me, I think, is reaction time of the hiring managers. I can get people on the hook, but like Larry said, he asked me what's going on with that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear back. I give them this profile after I interview people, for 2 to 3 hours, right? I never give a candidate to a client without interviewing them at least twice. Long, deep interviews, right? To find out the characteristics that they have that they're looking for, and not just their experience, but how they did things. Like I dig deep, which is part of what I teach managers to learn how to do, right? But it's the reaction time, right? Because especially if it's people who are looking for jobs, because guess what?
You need a job.
The pool is small. No, the ball is in the court of the candidate, because there's more jobs open than there are candidates. So they don't have to take your job. And this is where we are, and that's not really going to change. So if they don't have to take your job, if they applied at a dealership, they applied at 3 or 4 more. So whoever is going to get them to come in for an interview is the one who calls them up first and then doesn't just say, hey, come in for an interview, but also says, let me tell you about our organization. This is why you should choose us, right? Because we have this. This is why I love working here, right? For me, talent acquisition is a marketing game as well. You've got to sell your organization, whether that's a dealership, whether Abdul is hiring for somebody, whether Drew's hiring for somebody. It's not just a one-shot thing. Larry does he's going to he gives them some value because his candidates are going to get a free class, right? They're going to learn how to and they can take it with them whether they get hired or not. They're going to learn how to own their own business, basically. Right? Kind of like what you teach people, right, Larry?
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing this sales, but this is your business, right? You're going to find your own customers. You're not going to rely on the ups that come in. You're going to do whatever you're going to do and however you teach that, right? So they're getting some value. Employers also need to impart the value that these kids are getting, right? Especially young and text. You're right. They don't pick up the phone. My kid has probably, if I looked at her phone, she probably has 250 unread text messages.
Yeah, but that's not always true though, Sandy, because I have unread text messages. But I scroll through and I see them and I pick who I want to talk to.
He answers me.
It'll say unread, but I'll look and say, oh, it's just Mike Larkin. All right.
Which is why you have to keep
Abdullah's going to bitch at me because I didn't call him back today. And there goes number 6. So I get that, but like
short and sweet, right? Like
David, I have you on fast dial, so my phone will recognize you from 100 miles away. Because all the promises, you become a Pinocchio in my world.
Abdul,
I never call anybody back.
David, I never pick up the phone. Use the money. Hey, Drew, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from Mr. Larkin. How you doing, and what are your thoughts? We were talking about people ghosting interviews and how all the processes still appear to be broken in dealerships.
Oh yeah, I mean that's an easy one, and I think it has a lot to do with just people in charge. I mean, sometimes you just have the wrong people doing it. At the end of the day, for me, if I'm going to bring somebody in, I want them to meet a whole bunch of people, not just the hiring manager, right? Because I don't think a hiring manager knows everything. I think that's a single person antiquation, which makes no sense, right? So how can one person decide the fate of an employee that might be a great fit? And who knows, what if they're a great fit, maybe not for that role, but for a different role? And that's what drives me crazy about hiring is getting people in front of you. At least get the people in front of you and talk to them. At least get them on the phone and see if they have any ability to do what you need them to do. And maybe, just maybe, you might have them for a different job. I don't know. I've always felt that I see it with managers all the time. They'll look at a resume when I was a sales manager or GM. This guy's no good. Did you talk to him? How do you know? Oh, the guy was a plumber. Who cares? He had his own business. You know what I mean? Get him on the phone. Let's see if he has any ability. For me, I always wanted to talk to everybody. And I'm not like you, Larry. You talk to everybody. but I always like if somebody would call me and if somebody took the initiative, right, and called me, then I'm definitely calling them back. But I also agree on the other side is it's a different generation. They don't call people anymore. They don't.
You guys keep saying it's not like it was 30 years ago. All I know is there's a new McCartney album, Stones album coming out. It's exactly like it was 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Except for it wasn't digital, and you couldn't put it. There is no tangible record, right? There's no CD.
See this, Larry? My shirt.
I saw Marantz. I had a fabulous Marantz
It's analog,
years ago. Man, did they make good products? And I think they got bought out by a different company. And it really got crappy. Remember?
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff's coming back too, though. You see a lot of the amps and stuff and records and everything else is coming
Well,
back
records for anybody that's an audiophile, records just have a warmer sound.
Yeah.
The cool thing about CDs is it's less tricky to navigate if they don't have them in cars anymore, but nothing sounds as warm as a record.
Analog rules, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Larkin, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Excuse me.
And I asked you to curse because Rhonda could use the money, but from where you live, the only thing you would say is damn, and that doesn't get much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it.
You'll take it, right. I kind of excuse myself tonight. I spent the day as a human pincushion.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Are you okay?
Did all the testes? They had some kind of. I'm going to speak for you, Mr. Larkin, because you're my guy. He had some kind of irregular heart rhythm, and Mike was complaining to me about it, and I said, "Don't complain. I'm sure glad they found it. They can correct it. They can make sure you're okay or give you medicine." The scariest thing is when you don't realize you have a heart problem and then you keel over one day. So you're going to be just fine, Mr. Larkin. Because if God forbid, we love you. God forbid, if you passed away, Gary Silman would be in charge of the AI for the Big Idea podcast. And that's too scary. That would give me heart palpitation.
Oh, we're screwed.
Talk about
I'm making a fortune tonight.
Yeah, talk about the age of this dinosaur.
Michael, you're in all our thoughts. What are your thoughts here? And by the way, we'll be talking more about it in future podcasts. Mike's come up with some AI programs that are so phenomenal. Him and I are working on them together to try to push them through. Drew, you don't know Mike as good as we do. You won't find a better guy, and he'll help anybody with anything. So go ahead, Michael. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Thank you for that kind words. If I didn't get follow-up from my doctors this week, you would see a big X through my square here.
Oh boy.
So,
God forbid.
well, I mean, it's being professional. And if you want to have people working for you who care, who are professional with your business, and who are professional with your customers, this is your lifeblood. And how can you ignore it?
Michael,
that's
you know
just
I
me.
love you. When did your mom pass away?
She's still alive. She's alive and kicking in California.
Then listen to me, brother. Call your mother every day because nobody else loves you. I found this out the hard way every damn day. Everybody has their own agenda, their own moods. Okay, the only person that loves you is your mother. And if you think dealerships are bad, whoa, hospitals are the worst because whatever they do, they're overregulated. Everything they do, they got to try to get money from the worst bureaucracy that has ever existed. And they're so, I mean, even if they want to try to do something, and then you throw in the HIPAA laws, which means if you call on behalf of your mom and say, how's my mom doing? We can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I had that situation with my brother. He's a veteran and he's out there and I can't find him. Nobody can find him. So, it hits home.
That's sad.
Yeah. But But I was impressed by the doctors and their staff that they're so professional. They know what's going on with me and my medication and all kind of stuff. And if it weren't for them, and all of them communicate with each other. So if it weren't for them, you know, and I said, what's the problem with the car industry or the car guys that are failing? This is why they're failing. They don't communicate, and they don't know how, or they don't know why, or they don't bother to do it. And that's a shame for the ones that in the next year to 5 years, a lot of them are going to fail.
Michael, can I correlate something here and tie in the medical? A lot of times people don't make a change in their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So they go to their doctor and the doctor says, if you keep doing this in 6 months, you'll be dead. And all of a sudden they start eating cauliflower and start exercising.
Very true.
And it's because the doctor has said, if you do this, you're not going to be here. The problem is, for every David Rosick, for every David Spizak, for every Russell Hill who can tell you what's wrong, Drew Perlin, sharp as hell at getting in there and saying, this is where it's wrong or right. There's nobody there looking at the system. So if you can't figure out, if there's no warning lights, right? If there's nothing coming on that says you're low on fuel, your temperature's running too hot, that's the problem. They don't even know when there's a problem until the next thing you know, they fell out of favor, or God forbid, out of trust, and some big company came in and bought them. Right? If you didn't go to the doctor, all you know is you're not feeling your best.
Yeah. It's funny because one of my longtime clients, he's
like, is there a little blood dribbling out of your ear? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my ears are bleeding. Are you singing?
Wendy, I don't want to give him too much compassion. He'll get spoiled. He'll think I like him more than Gary Selman.
Did you have a thought, or do you want to move to the next person?
Did you cue me up and I didn't hear it?
No.
No, I just made it.
You were in the middle of something,
Keep going, Michael.
Yeah, you weren't glitchy, so I was
You're
curious
talking
as to
about
what was going on.
clients, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, one of my greatest clients, he came to me and he was in a desperate situation. He's like, look, all these corporate places are surrounding me at a 100-mile radius, and they're going to buy me out. What can I do? We're a small mom and pop. I'm like,
Sell it.
Well, we'll see what we can do, right? But I didn't say sell it. I'm going to try and help you.
Yeah.
Well, 16 months later, they're over 253,000 unique visitors to their website. Now, for a mom and pop place, they can't handle all that business, but yet I told them when I started, I'll make your phone ring. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'll let somebody else do that. You do it internally, or you figure that out. So I'll stay in my lane, you stay in your lane.
And let me guess, they forgot how to answer the phone or what?
No,
He's meaning that they didn't have enough follow through. It's the old thing. What good are the leads? If you don't train your people and you spend $50,000 a month to advertise, and then they get there and the salespeople don't know what to do, you're wasting your damn money.
Yep, exactly. But I mean, like I say, the technology has gotten to that point. Is in your market you can dominate, but you got to take the time to learn how or what we're doing to make that happen. And you've got to have the follow through, or else it's going to be money down the drain, or it's going to be money in my pocket.
Yep. I love it. Abdul, we certainly don't want to not hear from you, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And a couple of things. First of all, this Saturday will be my 53rd birthday from my open heart surgery of 20 hours ago at NIH in 1973. So by grace of God Almighty, I'm here and kicking it.
Right on, man.
And I'm beyond blessed to have the timing to have done that. And then as I was talking to Larry over the weekend, which I greatly appreciate, I did a nice little walk around tour of the techs. Everybody goes to the service department, talks to advisors and all of that, but everyone, pretty much a lot of people fail to talk to technicians. And the biggest complaint was because of after COVID, we've had so many recalls. We've got right now about 3.5 million recalls outstanding. And the problem with recall is that the factory pays the dealership at certain hours, and the techs are geared to expedite whatever. Let's say it's a 3-hour work, they do it in an hour and a half, and then they go to the next deal. But under I wasn't aware that under recalls, the service advisors are such weak sucks that I call them, pardon my French, Rhonda, that they don't upsell other services. You know,
Was there
they
a,
don't
I'm sorry, was
upsell
there a
other
customer in there?
services.
Because I didn't hear it.
The upsell aside from recall. So 50% of the consumer still, whether it be Toyota, Ford, which is the largest recall right now, over 1 million recall on their trucks and everything else. And then the techs are the ones sitting idle for an hour and a half till that time expires, where the service advisor could have done a tire thing or a tire rotation thing or a brake job recommendation or flush fluid, anything else that we did. And Larry agreed with me and said, you know what, the service advisor's quality, they're content with making $75 per recall, where the tech wants to make $150 for their 2-hour or 3-hour work. And that is the biggest shortcoming that I see in the service department. So we just launched from Zamzella. That's the way it is. We said, okay, dealerships, you wanna sticker your customer because you're losing money in the front end on the new cars? Well, let me show you that they will go to a mom and pop store that are Mercedes-Benz certified, they're BMW certified, they're Honda certified, and they'll take your business for 30% less discount. And now we just got the platform launched for regional mom and pop mechanic shops and body shops.
Abdul, it's exactly, you just translated into service what Mike Larkin was talking about.
Right.
Getting the people in and not knowing what to do with them is ridiculous.
They're also inefficient. I mean, let's talk about the inefficiency in a service department real quick.
But Drew,
But you have a technician, right?
I understand when shortchanging the technician and not appreciating the technician's hours, because a recall is done for 3 hours allocated by Toyota, Ford, XYZ, but the tech can get it done in an hour and a half, and then they don't have anything else to do in an hour and a half because they're clocked out for that particular job.
Yeah, but that creates a secondary issue because you gotta have a minimum of 70% clock time on a warranty job, or the manufacturer can come back and claim it back.
Exactly
So
right. But what would be wrong with saying,
they got
while you're in for your recall, we have a special program where while we're there, we can do these other things at a discount.
Yeah.
The fact
You
that
can do
they're there,
that.
the fact that they have.
But they scare, but they sticker the customer, and you give them a 99 oil change where they can go to the next door at $49 and $59 for that Honda oil change.
Yeah, but it's not
You
the
know what
same
it is?
oil change. You're not doing a full synthetic oil change anymore for $50.
No, not synthetic.
Hey,
Not
they're not
synthetic.
selling digital
Yeah, synthetic.
a dual.
Synthetic is at least $179, $199.
The bigger issue is that the owners of the dealerships, especially the smaller ones, aren't willing to make the investments on digital inspections, and the technicians are not getting the buy-ins for video inspections.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
once you're doing
exactly.
video inspections with the digital inspection, sending it out automatically, following up with a phone call, you're not gonna make shit.
Yes.
You can, I'll tell you right now, I went into a farm community up here, that's where I live, it's a smaller town. 70% of my sales I never talked to because I prepped them for a multi-point inspection that was going to be digital. I told them it wasn't from me, it was from my technician, and I priced it, I sent it. They had 30 minutes to respond or their car was going outside. So they knew that there was a time issue, or else they're going to the back of the line. And if they didn't follow up, I followed up at an hour. Your car went outside, but I didn't want you to load. There are these safety issues, and you need to take care of these. And you walk them through it. You get them by the extra time. You get the car back into the shop. The tech's happy, but they had to lift it twice. But you can't wait on a customer to respond to it. You got to create the sense of urgency. But on the flip side, your technician has to be invested in wanting to do more work than just a stupid recall. And if you can't convince your tech, then you got the wrong tech, and you need to bring in more entry level. You got to train them up and push the bad ones out. I mean, I've been doing this for too many damn years to listen to a technician telling me that there's no work because it's the advisor's fault. It's everybody's freaking fault.
Yeah.
But you know
And
what,
unless you
Alex?
work
It
as a
starts
team,
with
it's
marketing.
not gonna happen.
It starts
Yeah,
with
Alex.
marketing, because I work with the service managers, sorry, David. I
Okay.
don't even work with the fixed ops director. I work with the service manager who's in the shop, who knows what he needs, who knows what's going on, but he has to get the promotion approved by the fixed ops director. So like in most of the stores with an LOF, they do a $59.99, $69.99, or whatever, or even a recall that we're reaching out on, because we do the outbound campaigns and the inbound overflow and stuff, and we do the upsell, right? But it comes with an LOF, VMPI, tire rotation in many cases, and exterior car wash.
Right.
And what bogs my mind is those that won't give the free tire rotation that could potentially get you tire business and alignment work and every other damn thing,
Okay.
or a free alignment check.
But see, that's the
And then
problem, Wendy,
we're-
it's not
we're-
free. It's not
But here's
free.
the thing.
There's a
But
cost. and
I'll
you
land
have
the
to
plane and
account
you'll
for it.
understand. So there's a way you can price it depending upon whether it's a conquest versus an inactive versus a first oil change, whatever. And you have to do what's right for your market, and you have to make sure you cost it properly so it comes out right in the bottom line and you're not giving them away. But the problem is many have just such closed mind. All they want to give is lube oil filter change, and that's it.
But I'm saying is you can do an oil change, full synthetic for $89.95, include the tire rotation, and pay your lube tech 0.6 of an hour, and you're not gonna lose money. You're gonna make about $20 to $30 depending on your oil pricing. And you can have the same price whether you're doing a regular 4-cylinder, a turbo 4-cylinder, or a V6, and you get out of the bullshit, oh, well, this car costs more. You need a different amount of oil and all the other crap. That's not true. You just have to partner with your parts manager at the manager level, and you have to come up with competitive pricing. Ray Hernandez with Sonic Automotive Group is absolutely freaking correct, is that you have to pick the 5 to 8 most common maintenance items in your car dealership, and you have to be competitive. And when he says competitive, he means competitive. You're going to make some money, but you ain't making a bunch of it. But it gets you under the hood, it gets the wheels off the car, and that's where you make your money. Because your customers start trusting that you're going to do the routine maintenance on their car. They're going to come back because they don't feel like you're screwing them. They're not price shopping you necessarily on a timing belt. Most people aren't going on to Repair Pal. There's all kinds of tools where they can do more price shopping, but the far majority want to trust you to do the maintenance right. And if you can do the maintenance right, they're going to trust you to do the repairs right.
Alan,
They're not
that's
gonna go
because
find
they're
another
looking
shop.
at the possible small loss or small profit as opposed to the huge loss of losing a customer.
Well, yeah, but you can't run a service department negative based on a car sale and finance on the back end. But you can make a smaller profit and run 30% to 50% on your maintenance day. But you just can't, but you gotta budget every single freaking tech hour and flip those guys to flat rate in order to drive your costs down.
Right.
So you don't have huge unapplied. You can't run 30,000 unapplied and then have shit and not work coming through. You guys gotta make sure that your express bays are staying in there and they're staying hustling. And you can have an hourly guy for about 3 months, but at some point in 3 months, he's got to get his testing done and he's got to be able to change oil and rotate the tires on his own and do a complete inspection.
Alec, I've been spending a lot of time in the service lane trying to identify where all the leaks are. And we've identified in Connecticut that there's roughly 850 ROs going through an average store. And I've been pointing out, saying, is that you're taking a picture to log the car in. Why don't you use a service that takes the picture that does more? I have a product now that's an estimator on bodywork. So you can go, the customer comes through the lane and you take 3 pictures, 4 pictures, and it'll push it into your CRM or DMS or your morning login, but it'll produce quotes on the cosmetic automatically, and then they can share it with the customer. But let me just, my thought was, that was just one thing, but
yeah,
what I'm trying to get the dealer to understand is that everybody that comes through the service drive needs to get an appraisal by the used car manager needs to write up that RO and understand everything, but do a complete safety inspection and find out everything that's needed. And then you can have that conversation with that customer is, are you ready to trade up? Are you ready to fix the car? And so this is where the gold is. And I think you've been sitting in there for a long time. So in the industry today, the activity is no longer in the showroom. The activity is all in that, in the service drive, and the dealers that embrace that are going to crush it because they're helping the local community, they're buying the local community's cars, and they're fixing the local community. So I agree with everything.
I think one of the things that's the opportunity for me is having, I don't believe a salesman being on the service drive is competition for my advisors. But on the flip side, the GM and the service manager have to agree that if the ticket's flipped, the service advisor still gets paid on the internal, but at a lower percentage rate.
It's fair.
And I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, you gotta be fair.
But you can't
Everybody's
just
trying.
suppose, you can't hang out the guy to spend all the time and put the customer in a position where they realize that the car is no longer, it's like, is it really worth $10,000 in repairs?
Do you want to put $2,500 in a car that's worth $5,000? No.
Oh, actually,
Larry, what's up, Chuck? Thank you so much for joining. Mary St. Louis, and thank you for joining us.
Where's that
Today,
coming
we are
from?
going to be talking
What do we
about
got?
in your workplace or in your place of business. Well, whatever.
Someone's playing an ad?
Industry you're in, this can help you. So
Larry, you can't be in two places at one time.
I'm joining Drew on TikTok. It's 8 o'clock.
All right.
I'm gonna jump. We're working on something together. Stay
All
Good
right,
night.
Take care, guys.
Thank you,
Enjoy the game
everyone.
tonight, guys.
Thank you
Should
so
be a
much for
good
the
game.
deposits into the bank.
Thank you for helping the industry get better today live.